Wake up in the morning feeling like
shit. My alarm that I set for 8:10 decided I never existed. So I awoke to Mom turning on my lamp for me. And no, not the creeper lamp. The other one. Picked my vibe for the day, and by that I mean which jacket do I wear over my t-shirt, and grabbed my wallet, and it's time for rickrolling my mom because my phone auto-connected to her car. After a bit of trolling, it was time for an hour-and-a-half long drive that I will not be showing because why the fuck would I film that? I was on a mission. It's a family tradition to go to Maryland to game shop, but I needed Metroid Zero Mission for an upcoming video I want to make. So, 5 stores that might have it. Second & Charles is the only store we both go to normally because they have so much shit, oh my god. I shit you not, this place has everything. Games, manga, comics, TV, movies, books, vinyls, CDs, guitars? FNAF? Poppy Playtime? Amogus? I considered adding 8 copies to my Smash Brawl collection, but decided to be graceful and let another collector have them. Found 3 of the same Cars game, with 1 being more expensive, because sure. This is one of those stores that has 30 Wii Fits and yet no NHL 07. After 15 minutes of looking at games with no Metroid, I was ready to go. Unfortunately, the rest of the family was looking through books, shows, and movies, so I had a long wait ahead of me.
Oh, hell no.
I turned to the gaming plushie rack and found Amogus, and then found the funny man who can kill you at 20%, and the best villager, At Me I Dare You. I then said fuck it and looked through the vinyl just so I could go, I know that one, and get a release of Oxytocin from Basic Pattern Recognition. They had 5 Black Sabbath albums, even the bad one. Kill 'em all and Ride the Lightning, which that one tempted me to become a vinyl nerd. But I decided to pass after seeing the price of record players. Saw an amp that isn't broken. Isn't this great? But it was $200, so I went back to the game section and got some more Oxytocin while waiting for the rest of them to be done. Thankfully, I wasn't there long and they were ready to check out, so I last minute grabbed my baby and left the store. We then went our separate ways, me and Dad going game shopping, and my mom, grandma, and sister went to the outlet mall.
Oh, he's giving me the cold shoulder.
He's like, fuck you, man.
We went to Red Robin to eat lunch. Fine. We then went to Hot Topic and FYE because they exist, and then it was off to our first real game store. It was small and kinda cramped, but the selection was decent. Prices were something. I saw the same Roy plushie again. What are the odds of seeing the same plushie of a Fire Emblem character twice in one trip? Ah well, it's not like it'll happen a third time. I decided to grow my Cars games collection because it had the manual and it was $7. It's fine, I don't have a problem. Dad got a Gold Classic Controller Pro and R-Type. No luck with Metroid, so it was off to the next store. This one was a bit more spacious and had some better stuff, including 2 Virtual Boy games? To be fair, they were both Mario's Tennis, which for those of you uninitiated, it's not Mario Tennis, it's Tennis with Mario. But one of them was the Japanese version. Dad ended up getting it, and if he didn't, then I would've. Checked the big case and found that Player 2 will always be more valuable than Player 1. Dad then found a Super Nintendo style 3DO controller that he needs to play fighting games. And a second Menacer, because one wasn't enough. Genuinely though, it was more for parts than anything, and it was only $50. I mean, come on guys, it's a perfectly sane and rational purchase. But then, when I was looking through the Game Boy games, I saw it. Metroid Zero Mission. A boxed copy, too. How perfect is that? I can actually play the video game.
$225.
I just couldn't afford it. I could, but I couldn't, you know? In my sadness, I saw Kid Icarus 2 and said, sure. Kid Icarus 2. The new Stress Eating, along with the Splatoon 2 Pro-Con that I was shocked I didn't have already. While we were at the store though, we got a text from Mom. The outlet mall had opened a game store. We couldn't believe it. A new store? We had to check it out to see if it was any good. So now we have an extra chance at Metroid. Let's go. Spacious, for sure, I'll give it that. It's one of those stores that's really not that much about games, but more about gaming. Tons of Lego sets and collectibles and things like that. They actually had a decent selection of consoles. Red Wii for $80 ain't too shabby. But the middle where the actual games were was a little depressing. Everything was just slapped in bins on tables. The selection wasn't the worst, but the presentation is just sad. It was alright. I considered the Red Wii, but ultimately said that I could afford it, but I couldn't afford it. So we left the store and went to see Mom over at the Coach Real Fast, and then it was back on the road. We stopped at the Sheets to get gas and drinks. Then it was off to the next intended store. This one was probably the second best we went to, objectively speaking. In terms of prices, they had Wii bundles with 8 games for $80. Pretty dang good. Also, I find it so funny that they have literally one Game Gear game. Squid Game! Guys! Squid Game!
It's a game just called Duck. There is a game just called Duck. Is that not funny?
No Metroid yet again, and just as I was about to leave, I saw the Xenoblade 2 Pro Controller for $55, and I had to. And while I was at it, I said fuck it and got this magnet set as well, because it was $5, fuck it. I flipped it over, saw 64, and genuinely questioned if they included Sunshine. This is it. The final store. If they don't have Metroid, this is it. I walk in and it's 60% vinyl. So I immediately ignore that and turn to the plushies in the window. Look at the game selection and it's alright. Like, it's alright, but if it's good, it's probably pricey. I look at the Game Boy section and yet again I'm greeted to no Metroid. I walk around for a bit, see what they've got, and for shits and giggles I look at the vinyl and find nothing of interest except a sticker of my favorite band on the case. I don't have a problem, you have a problem. I guess behind the shelf there was Injustice for All and Nevermind with the most interesting prices. Justice, $40. Nevermind, $200. Apparently Nevermind is 400% more valuable than Justice, which is something. Dad finds the T-Rex pop and says fuck it, but at the last second I spotted something in the case. Metroid Prime Hunters? I quickly asked Dad if we have it. I honestly had forgotten about that game. If we don't have it, I need that for the video too. We don't have it, so I get it. We leave and dig around in the toy store for 20 minutes, then we actually leave with a whole bunch of shit in the back seat. I've neglected to mention, but all this time we've been stopping at Targets if they aren't too much of a detour for a Ghostface plush that Dad really wants. The reason I bring this up is because they were all laid out the exact same. All the 3 we went to were laid out the exact same as the one at home. It felt like I was being warped back to my home Target every time we went in. At this last one I had to pee, so it's time for bathroom review. Visuals, 9. Smell, 3. Sound, 7. Air quality, 6. Water pressure, 5. Sensor placement on the faucet instead of lower, so you have to fucking basically touch the faucet to keep the water running. Why the fuck just not put the sensor lower, you fucking piece of shit? 0. Paper towels, 0, they didn't have them. Those fucking changing stations you see and never use. 0, they didn't have them. Air dryers, 0, they were bad. Overall, 4. And this concludes the daily bathroom review. Tune in tomorrow for another daily bathroom review. Also, I don't know why, but this PetSmart card being here was funny to me. As we drove at night, I considered. My mission was furthered for sure. I still got a Metroid game I don't have. That's all except Zero Mission, Federation Force, and Prime Remastered. I pondered, did me and Dad spend more money, or did Mom and Lauren spend more money? As I pondered, I got hungry, where we then decided to get Burger King. I saw they had spicy chicken fries, so I figured, fuck it. They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
Did you tell the audience what you fucking had?
I'm gonna do that in voiceover.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, I added it all up, and it was beaten by just their visit to Coach and the shoe store alone. Dear God, what is the economy? So we officially won the Spend Less Money contest that they didn't know was happening and weren't participating in. But all that matters is that we won, boys, let's go!